Testing. Okay, great. Good morning and welcome to our Queens Borough President Land Use Public Hearing. This hearing is taking place both in person in the Borough President's Conference Room and on our YouTube channel, which you can access by going to youtube.com and searching Queens Borough President Donovan Richards. I am Vicki Garvey, and I am the Director of Land Use for Borough President Richards, and I will be chairing this hearing. For those who wish to testify virtually and haven't already pre-registered to do so, please visit our website at queensbp.nyc.gov. If you are attending our public hearing in person, please see our staff to sign up for public speaking time if you have not already done so. Please note your opportunity to speak will follow those who are pre-registered.
Vicky,
Written, yeah,
it's not 9:30 yet.
it's not working on YouTube.
No, no, I was saying, well, never mind, because I was saying that it's not 9:30 yet. Like the public hearing starts at 9:30, but it's 9:28.
Okay.
So if you want to wait, I don't know. I was just letting you know. I'm not sure.
Okay. We can give it a minute. And yeah, well, there's people testifying for. Okay. And then that's on, so if you want to hit it off for now. Okay, apologies for the early start. We're gonna just start over because it's 9:30. So good morning, welcome to our Queensborough President Land Use Public Hearing. This hearing is taking place both in person in the Borough President's Conference Room and on our YouTube channel. I am Vicki Garvey. I am the Director of Land Use for Borough President Richards, and I will be chairing this hearing on his behalf. For those who wish to testify virtually and haven't already pre-registered to do so, please visit our website at queensbp.nyc.gov. If you are attending our public hearing in person, please see our staff to sign up for public speaking time if you have not already done so, or really there's a sign-in sheet in the front that I can redirect you to if you have not signed in. Please note your opportunity to speak will follow those who are pre-registered. Written testimony is also welcome from those who are unable to testify in real time. All written testimony must be received by 5 p.m. today and must be submitted by email to planning2, that's number 2, at queensbp.nyc.gov or by conventional mail sent to the office of the Queensborough President at 120-55 Queens Boulevard, room 226, Kew Gardens, New York, 11424. And if you need the address again, you can always go back in the YouTube live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and read a couple instructions. The public hearing shall be conducted in the following manner. The applicant will give a description of the requested zoning actions, the proposed project, and respond to any questions from the chair. The floor will then be open for public speakers. Please listen for your name to be called. Each speaker will have about 3 minutes to ask questions and/or deliver testimony. Due to the length of this, sorry, I'm going to skip that. So when you are called, please identify yourself for the record, and if you are formally speaking as a representative or member of a group, calendar number or application you're speaking about, and whether or not you are for or against the item. Then you may begin your testimony. And please note that a signal will ring when your time is up. At the discretion of the chair, if there's a large number of speakers on any item, it may be put on second call. Please note that if you're testifying virtually, you must keep your camera on during your testimony and display your name accurately on Zoom. If at any point you have technical issues, please let the staff know in the chat and we will assist you. Thank you very much for your cooperation. So now we will move on to the first two calendar items, which are related. ULURP number 250208 ZMQ and ULURP number N250209 ZRQ. The applicant for this project is New York City Department of Housing and Preservation and Development. So applicant, you may begin your presentation.
Morning. Let me just share my screen. Okay, is everyone seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Great. Good morning, Borough President Richards, staff, and office. Thank you for the opportunity to present this project to you today. This project certified into ULURP on April 7th, and we presented at the Queens Community Board 1's public hearing on May 20th. My name is Annabelle Meunier. I'm a senior planner with HPD's Queens and Staten Island planning team, and I'm joined today by my counterparts from the development team who will be presenting with me, as well as others from the team who are on and available to answer questions. I'll ask my fellow presenters today to introduce themselves, beginning with Alexa.
I am Alexa Mendel. I work with Mega, who's the co-developer and the general contractor. I think Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard Ross, and I'm Director of Housing Development at Hannock.
And we go to Saki.
Yeah, I'm Saki Yakis. I am senior partner at SLC Architects, and we are the architects of the Ecos Senior Living building.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so today we'll review the purpose and background of this project, some background on the development team, as you just heard their introductions, the proposed land use actions, and the development team will review the proposed development before we turn it over to you for questions. So HPD issued the RFP for this site in 2019 under the Seniors First initiative, which addressed the need to provide 100% affordable housing for 30,000 senior households by 2026. The city identified underutilized city-owned public sites, including DOT municipal parking lots, as part of Housing 2.0 under the de Blasio administration. And after a thorough review process of applications, Hannock and Mega Development LLC were designated for the RFP in January 2021. So a bit more about the development team. As you can see here, Mega was founded in 1990, has built over 10,000 residential units for throughout New York City. And Mega has a long history of working with community-based not-for-profits organizations to develop and construct quality residential projects that meet the needs of residents. Hannock is the co-developer and social service provider. They were founded in 1972, have served the Queens community for over 50 years, and they own and manage more than 650 units of affordable housing in Queens. And Hannock serves multiple populations for social services and specializes in developing affordable housing for low-income seniors. And SLCE, or Slice Architects, is the architect, and they were founded in New York City in 1941 and has they have a proud heritage of creating architecture in the world's most complex urban environments. And they've designed a total of 63 senior housing and assisted living buildings containing over 5,500 units. So the proposed land use actions as certified into ULURP on April 7th are, as noted on this slide. Number one, a zoning map amendment to rezone the project area from R5 and R5 with a C12 overlay to C45 and C42A. Number two, a zoning text amendment to establish the project as a mandatory inclusionary housing area, which requires that permanently affordable housing be provided within new residential developments, enlargements, and conversions from non-residential to residential use within the MAP MIHAs. And number three, designation of an urban development action area and approval of an urban development action area project and disposition of city-owned property. This development site is located at 31-07 31st Street or block 611, lot 25, and will be conveyed to the developer. Okay. I'll now pass it off to the development team, beginning with Saki from Slice, who will continue the presentation.
Based on the new zoning, we've designed a 13-story building which has 167 affordable senior housing units and one 2-bedroom unit for the superintendent who lives within the building. The building has a 75-foot, 7-story height at the street wall, and then a setback of another 6 floors to a total height of just under 135 feet. We've also articulated it with a dormer portion of additional 3 floors to enhance the massing of the building. And other than that, on facing 132nd Street, there is a separate 3-story community facility building, which will operate independently of the senior housing building. Can we get the next? Yeah. On the street side of the building is the elevated subway line, and so on the first floor, close to Broadway, where the entrance to the subway is, and the MTA is at present is going to put elevators in that location. We have the entrance to the building, and next to the entrance to the building, there's a commercial 6,800 square foot commercial space on the first floor. The building has at the rear a 30-foot wide, 4,900 square foot outdoor recreation space, passive recreation space, which is going to be landscaped and have activities for the seniors. Next. 100%. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Again, I'm Richard Ross with Hannick, and we're proud to offer this senior affordable housing building in the neighborhood of Astoria. 100% of our units will be available to seniors earning up to 50% of the area median income of up to $62,150 a year in income for a family of 2. 30% of the units will be set aside for formerly homeless senior households. 5% will be set aside for the mobility impaired, and 2% of the units will be set aside for the hearing and visually impaired. All of the households will benefit from Section 8 vouchers, meaning residents will only pay 30% of their income towards rent maximum. The proposed project will be developed under HPD's Senior Affordable Rental Apartments Program, otherwise known as SARA. We'll have 132 studios and 35 one-bedroom apartments. Thank you. Next slide. Preference will be given for up to 20% of the units for community residents, which is a great benefit, and 5% for civil servants. All of the units will be available through HPD's Housing Connect 2.0 website, and the website is there on the slide. housingconnect.nyc.gov. In Queens Community District 1, an estimated 60% of senior citizens are rent burdened, meaning that they spend more than 30% of their income on housing costs, which makes it really tough to afford affordable housing in this bustling, growing area. As of 2024, Queens Community District 1 is experiencing a housing vacancy rate of only 0.88%, or less than 1%, indicating a severe shortage of available housing units. According to the Queens Community District 1 Statement Community District's Needs Report, the community requests that more senior housing be built due to the rapidly growing senior population, which is an occurrence across the United States. Next slide, please. So I will give the slide now to the MEGA team. Oh,
Sure.
let me continue. I'm sorry. The second floor will have a social service office space and amenities. These amenities will include a gym, a computer room, and a game room. Services for all ECO residents include workforce development for older adults, health and wellness programming, transportation services to senior services and appointments, and arts and educational workshops. There will be additional senior services specifically available to formerly homeless seniors, which will be funded by the New York City HRA SARA program. Thank you. Now I'll turn the presentation over to the MEGA team.
Sure. ECOS will support roughly 250 construction jobs and several long-term property management jobs. And a key feature of this project is that all these jobs will be subject to prevailing wages. HANIC is the property manager and social service provider, and MEGA as the general contractor are committed to promoting local hiring through coordination with Hire NYC, Building Skills New York, and other local community organizations. And our team also has a long track record on HPD projects exceeding MWBE goals, and will emphasize hiring MWBE suppliers and subcontractors. I'll pass it off to Annabelle to wrap things up.
Thank you, everyone. Just to briefly review the anticipated timeline, now that we're in ULURP, we've noted the standard time frames here on this slide, as well as the dates that we have been to already. And so based on these, we anticipate conclusion of ULURP by the end of this year. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you again for your time today. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Yes, I do have some questions, but I think I'm getting some feedback. So just give me 1 second. Trying again. Okay. Can everyone hear me on the Zoom too? Okay, thank you. So yeah, with regard to the MWBE hiring goals, just a reminder that Borough President Richards likes to see 30%, but I just want to note that that is the floor, not the ceiling. So we definitely encourage more MWBE hiring if you are able to fit that within your project goals. I just was hoping you could expand a little bit more about how you're connecting with unions or other subcontractors in terms of local workforce development with the construction. Are unions involved in the bidding process? I just want to understand.
Yeah, hi.
I forgot to introduce Hercules. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I jumped the gun, Alexa. I'm Hercules Argier. I'm one of the partners at Mega, and I want to address your question. So this is a prevailing wage project, and we're going to invite both union and non-union subcontractors to participate. We encourage MWU participation, and we go to work fairs and networking events so we can reach our goals. Often, and in this case, we're going to host a networking event for subcontractors in our office, since the project is in Astoria and we're in Astoria, so it's very convenient. And we will encourage and prefer to have union subcontractors, at least on the major trades.
Got it. So when do you, given the hypothetical with the Euler process wrapping up at the end of the year, when would this project break ground and start construction?
That's a question for Annabelle more. But we
Yeah.
would be ready, as from the construction side, we would be ready to break ground a few months after the Euler process is completed. But it's up to funding.
Well, yes, the project will need to close first. It's typically at least a 6-month timeline. The project will need to apply and get the appropriate financing, and also I think maybe before actual construction there may need to be some remediation on the site. I'm not sure. Maybe the team can speak to that, but
so we would not. So the project is owned by the city, obviously, and before closing, there's minimal stuff that we would be able to do as far as even remediation. So I imagine the remediation will be part of the contract time. We would do some borings and other things that may be required, but nothing major before closing. So it sounds like it's going to be sometime at the earliest mid 2026, hopefully, and more probably towards the end of 2026. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but that's my sense of the schedule.
Okay, and can anyone confirm when you would be able to find out if remediation is needed at the site? When would that come in?
There will be remediation needed, but it will happen after closing.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of that.
Oh, at closing. It won't happen before closing. It's going to happen
Okay.
once.
Okay, understood. Okay, so pivoting to a different kind of question. This came up, I believe, at the Board 1 hearing. What is the land use rationale for including the properties across the street from the development site?
So I'll speak to that. HPD and this development team worked closely with city planning from the beginning. It was actually since the ID meeting that the zoning boundaries were decided. They had been tweaked a little bit since, but not really that much. The site across the street was always included, and the rationale really is that given that this site and the site across the street are very right adjacent to a subway stop that will be getting an elevator, we really thought density was appropriate here. It's also there's an existing commercial corridor, and most other subway stops across this line have the similar kind of character of higher density along the commercial corridors, and it doesn't necessarily affect the lower residential density on the side streets, tapering off the corridor. So really, we thought, this could support more density, and also if we rezone this area, currently there is no mandatory inclusionary housing requirement. So the site across the street would get that benefit. The environmental assessment statement did consider the site and project how large it could be and how many units it could support, including affordable units. Another point is, it would be more efficient to include. It's some people in the meeting pointed out, once this building is built, there'll be a tall building across the street. The neighboring property may, choose to rezone themselves, and then they'll have to decide all over again. So it's just a little more efficient this way, and we're really looking at this with the neighborhood context in mind, and with the idea that we need to create more housing, create room for more housing, and this is specifically an area where it would be well supported. There's also lots of existing commercial amenities nearby, so we do think it makes sense here.
And follow up to your answer, I guess there are two subway stops. It's the NW. Which station is going to have an elevator?
This station, the
30th Ave?
30th, yeah, we'll have an elevator that was already in the MTA's capital plan. So, our project doesn't need to didn't need to make any amends for that because it was already in the capital plan.
Right. I mean, I understand the synergy there. I just am curious, do you know when the elevator is supposed to be constructed? It's okay if you don't. I just wanted to.
I'm not exactly sure. I can get back to you. I know they're doing a lot of work right now, but
we can follow up with the MTA as well. Okay. So then this also came up at the hearing, with the open space with this project. It is currently for the residents at this building. Is that right?
correct.
Not publicly accessible.
It is not it will not be publicly accessible. And I think the team can speak a little bit more to this, but the whole idea was that, this is a senior building. It's a vulnerable population, kind of for security purposes, also kind of with the design of the space and the fact that it's kind of in the rear yard of the other, neighboring properties. I think it wasn't imagined as a public space. So that's what I'll say for now, and I'll ask anyone else to supplement.
That was well said, Annabelle, and it's exactly right. Residents and their guests will be able to access this space.
Okay. I do want to point out that, board 1 is lacking in a lot of publicly accessible open space. And I understand the security concerns. But I do think that it's worth looking into creating access for the public, at least like maybe a limited amount of time during the day. I do ask that might be something that you look into to possibly amend with the plan, because I do think that's really important for the surrounding neighbors and the neighborhood. So my last question until we go to, and then we will go to public testimony. So I think another comment at the hearing and something that is, I think, really important is transportation, not just with the subway, but also thinking about accessoride or paratransit. Are you actively working with the MTA to have some sort of schedule with, the building, possibly, since this is going to be 100% senior project? I just wanted to know, have there been any sort of conversations about that?
In Hannock's other developments, we do have transportation via vans available, funded through various sources. And that is something we will look into in regards to this building, as well as researching, coordinating scheduling with the MTA and making that information available to our tenants. So it's an excellent point, and we thank you for the recommendation.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we are gonna go to public testimony. I can't see who's actually on the Zoom, but I'm gonna call in order of those who signed up to testify. The first person is Christina Chase.
Hi, can you
Christina
hear
is
me?
on. Yeah, okay.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Um, my name is Christina Chase. Some of you may know me. Thank you so much for all the work that you do for Queens. Although I wear many hats in the community, I'm showing up as myself today to express some personal concerns I have with this plan as a longtime resident of the community. Although I am 100% in support of building more deeply affordable housing, especially for seniors, I'm quite concerned about the implications of permitting such a tall building, 13 stories, in a neighborhood that is predominantly 2 to 4 story buildings, maybe 6 stories at most. This is more than double that. Moreover, I'm scared that this plan may lead to a trend of further real estate development that would mirror this height and destroy the character of the neighborhood and destroy the character of Queens at large. Lastly, but most importantly, I showed up today to speak to the deceitful incorporation of changing zoning regulations within this application for the land across the street, which has nothing to do with the senior building. Um, this is a speculative and predatory housing practice. It is super frustrating that the city continues to rezone our communities and give our land to developers rather than to the people who stewarded this land for decades. Yes to senior housing, no to rezoning the site across the street. Vicky reminded me to also uplift the need to comply to Section 3 of HUD policies for this building that would receive Section 8 funding. Section 3 requires recipients of federal funding to provide training, employment, and contracting opportunities to low and very low income persons and businesses within the neighborhood. There's no clear commitment to training and hiring residents from Astoria and Ravenswood houses. That is a necessary component to this plan for community support. I would love to assist with Section 3 compliance however I can, as there are many people in my community of Ravenswood houses that could benefit. However, there must be a clear commitment to our community within this plan. Thank you.